Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'll be talking about how you should explain your project in an interview. See, explaining your project is very critical and crucial for your chances of getting selected, because the way you explain your project gives an idea about what kind of projects you have worked on, what kind of things you have worked on within Salesforce, and it gives an interviewer a hint about your overall skill set, and then based on that he will ask the further questions most of the time. So explaining your project is really important, and what most of the candidates does wrong is that they try to just give one liners about their project and the things they have worked on, and then that leaves a very big gap between what interviewer can ask and what he will be asking. So most of the time the interviewer will try to see what you have worked on, and then will try to figure out the questions he'll be going to ask from you. And explaining project is definitely very critical. You typically get around 5 minutes to explain your project, and if you have worked on multiple projects for multiple clients, you can try to explain your recent project in the best possible manner, and try to just give one liners for the previous projects. Or it is also very important that you see for which company you are giving interview. Let's say if it is a banking company and you have already worked for a banking client in one of your previous projects, all even though if it is not your latest project, you can highlight that project, because from that he will get the most relevant questions for you. So it is very important to also think about for which company you are giving interview and what they're looking for from you. And most of the time, if it is your latest project, you will be able to explain that project well if you plan it properly. So in today's video, I'm gonna tell you how you should actually explain your project. I will break down the explanation part into four different stages, and we'll talk about each stage. So typically in those 5 minutes you can follow these four-step approach and explain your project. So on the step one, you will be talking about the company you are working for, the client you are working for, and the overall domain of that client. So if it was a banking client, or if it was an agriculture client, or if it was in a life sciences, you can explain the overall structure of their domain and what the company was doing, their business model and something like that. If you're not allowed to take the name, you can just refer by the domain as well. Like I have worked for a banking client who was doing banking business in Canada, and they were doing the loan management and everything. And on the second step, you will talk about what Salesforce was doing for the client. So where was Salesforce on their overall ecosystem, what were the other tools they were using, how Salesforce was helpful for them. On the second step, you will be doing this thing. On the third stage, you will be talking about what was the major things you have done for that project, what was your day-to-day responsibilities, what are the most important things you have done on the Salesforce for that particular client. And this step is really important, because whatever things you have worked on will be asked further in that interview. So make sure that you are only telling the things which you have actually worked on, are very confident about. Don't try to say something which you are not very confident about, because that will definitely backfire for you. And in the last stage, you're going to tell them how you handle the client interaction, or how you handle the deployments, how you handle the testing, what was the overall project structure, project team size, and how you were communicating with different stakeholders, whether you were using agile or not, what were the tools you were using for the user story tracking and everything. So these four stages you can utilize and explain each stage in a proper manner. Otherwise, most of the time what happens is that either candidate focuses too much on the Salesforce part, or focuses sometimes too much on the company part, but they never give a blend of the information which interviewer is actually looking for. To try to follow these four-step approach whenever you try to explain your project, and I hope by this approach you'll be able to explain your project well. Feel free to talk to me on LinkedIn for any doubt and clarification on any of the topics I have discussed so far, and it always feels good to talk to you on LinkedIn. Thank you everyone, thank you very much.